जय कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, 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 यमुना तीर बनचारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, 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 यमुना तीर बनचारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गोपी जन बल्लभ, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
Be with you here on the banks of Mother Ganga, and to have this beautiful opportunity to drop in to the presence of truth together.
Pranam Sadhviji, the first question that's come in is, how can I tell if I'm in love with someone or just love them deeply? I don't feel fireworks and want to be with them at all times, but I've never had this kind of feeling for someone, and I haven't been intimate with and know I want to be intimate with. I don't know how to separate love from sex. Please help.
Love is the energy that rules the universe. Love is the energy that makes everything possible, that makes everything happen. Love is, so we are. If you look at nature, if you look at the petals of a flower opening to the sun, it's love. The deepest truth of who we are is love. Love is who we are. Love is that divine presence. And so when we love each other, there's a lot of different ways that we love each other. The core piece of it is that in each other, we are able to see the divine. If all you are is enjoying, appreciating, really liking someone's physical body, someone's physical presence, it's nice. It's nice to appreciate the body. The body is beautiful. God has given us this extraordinarily incredible, beautiful, beautiful body. But if all we're doing is loving the body, this is what we call lust. Lust is that which is rooted in the physical body. Love is that which is rooted in soul to soul. Love is actually experiencing the self, the capital S self, in the other. Love is truly seeing the essence. Because think about it, when you love someone, you may, and regardless of whether it's a romantic love or a love of your parents to a children or children to parents, whatever it may be, when you love someone, you love the essence. The physical body keeps changing. The physical body keeps changing form. But you keep loving them. What that means is, what it reminds us is, what we're loving is essence. If you love someone over a period of a few years or a few decades, the physical body keeps changing, but you keep loving them. Not because it's the body you're attached to, but because it's the essence of who they are you love. So yes, the body, we appreciate it, we enjoy it, but real love is of the essence. And this is how you know, by the way, that it's really love, because if the body changes, fat to thin, young to old, beautiful to not beautiful, and if you find that your love is fading as the body changes, that's a really good way of knowing this isn't love. This is lust. But then you come into, okay, what about the different types of love? And as you raise the question about being in love, romantic love, the love of someone you're going to marry, So it's different, of course. It's different than the way that you love your sister or brother, the way you love your mother or father, the way you love a friend or a family member, or the tree in your yard. There's something different about it. That element of being in love, that element of kuch kuch hota hai andar. But even that's not enough to base a relationship on. Because if the relationship is only based on the fireworks, on the passion, and it doesn't have a base of actual love, it's going to dissipate very quickly. So make sure that along with the fireworks, along with the passion, that there is that core love. And if the love is there but the fireworks aren't there, I wouldn't worry about that. Many, many people, most of us, have experienced fireworks at some point in our life, have experienced that passion of falling in love, only to discover a few weeks or a few months or a few short years later that that's really all it was. It was like a firework. It was very loud and very colorful and very bright, but very short, without the depth. So if you have both, great. But if you only have one, you can definitely have a meaningful, deep, beautiful, lifelong relationship rooted in love, even without fireworks. But don't try to have a lifelong relationship if all you've got are fireworks and no rooting in love, because that'll fizzle out. And when you speak about only having this experience of sex without love, or how to distinguish them, well, this is that aspect of lust. If it's rooted in the body, if it's rooted in how your body makes my body feel, it's lust. If it's rooted in how my ego feels in the presence of your ego speaking, acting, it's also still lust. Not lust of the physical body, but it's lust of my feeling okayness that's actually just as shallow and just as quickly to dissipate as lust of the body. Some of us have the lust of, oh, I just need your body. For some, it's a lust of, I just need you to act a certain way, speak a certain way, make me feel a certain way, either physically, emotionally, psychologically. Oh, if you just tell me I'm wonderful and worthy and beautiful, then I feel good. Then I feel whole. Well, this is lust. It's just not lust for your physical body, it's lust for your words. It's lust for the way you look at me. But within me, it's not soul connecting to your soul. It's an emptiness within me, an ignorance within me, an illusion of lack within me that is longing for you to make me feel whole, in the same way that physical lust is the longing of a physical body for another physical body to make it feel a certain way. In both cases, it lasts only a very short period of time. And it's not something to build a relationship on, because the minute that anything changes, the physical body changes, the physical relationship changes, the identity changes, the way that we speak, behave, changes. The moment that changes, we're no longer able to find that experience of love. And so this is where, if you have love, if you have that experience of soul connecting to soul, if you're able, with that other being, to experience the truth of yourself, even if you don't have fireworks, it's okay. That's a very, very special, very beautiful relationship. And who knows, maybe fireworks will come. Maybe they won't. But what we know is, take holidays that we light fireworks on, whether it's Diwali in India, 4th of July in America, so many different occasions. What makes them special isn't the fireworks. What makes them special is sharing them with people you love. If with the people you love there's also fireworks, wonderful. But fireworks without love, empty. So make finding that love your priority. And if you find yourself rooted and anchored and driven by lust for another person's physical body, for another person's words or actions to make you feel a certain way, realize, tell yourself, you're selling yourself short. You're taking something, you're buying something, you're accepting something that is so shallow, so superficial, so quickly to fizzle out, and also something that actually is depriving you of this incredible opportunity to realize within yourself that fullness. That's why we always say love is not half and half together is one. Love is one, and one is one. It's not about, oh, I was half and then you came and now I feel whole. Because then I need you to keep being a certain way for me to feel whole. Love is me, aware, connected, grounded in the truth of who I am. Connecting with you, whole and anchored and grounded in the truth of who you are. Coming together as one.
Thank you, Puja Sadhviji. The second question that has come in are there ever times when it's okay not to understand feelings, to say it doesn't matter what the answer is? Maybe it's just the ego trying to create confusion.
It's an interesting place where the West and the East intersect, where modern psychology intersects with ancient spirituality. Because ancient spirituality, especially that of the East, reminds us, emphasizes that feelings, emotions are just waves in the ocean of the mind. It's just the ebb and the flow of chemicals and electricity, and like waves on the ocean, they come and they go. And not to get attached to them. Not to infuse too much importance in them. In fact, we speak about yoga as yoga is the cessation of the fluctuation of the mind. As the mind becomes still, that is yoga. And so in the Eastern traditions, that which we call our feelings, our emotions, are actually seen very much as just kind of a fluctuation of mind stuff. And that stuff is made up of everything ranging from patterns, sanskaras from our childhood in this particular life, to karma and sanskaras from past lives, to the hormones flooding our body, to the chemicals in our bloodstream based on what we ate, based on whether we got enough sleep last night, based on so many different aspects that are impacting the chemicals and electricity of my brain. And it's really seen as just mind stuff, not something to be paid that much attention to, not something to be delved into and hashed out, something to be able to be simply witnessed. Anger. Yearning. Aversion. Sanskara. An impression. A pattern. Just to be noticed, to be witnessed, like the waves of the ocean. In the West, we're much more focused on insight and depth and process. And for me, I come from that. That's the background that I was raised in, born in, both as a culture, but it's also the background that I was educated in. I have a PhD in psychology. And so, on the one hand, I love insight. The ability to understand, anger. But also, here's why I'm angry. Anger, yes. But it's anger because that which just happened intersected in this subtle way with that thing that my mom or my dad or my sister or brother used to do to me. And it set this pattern, this sanskara, in me in my childhood. And I've carried it throughout my life. And that is why in this moment, when that colleague or that neighbor or that friend did that thing, it's like pulling a scab off of a wound that didn't heal. And so, anger. But not anger of today. Anger of 20, 30, 40 years ago. And on a personal level, I actually love that ability to have that insight. I love being able to look at how I feel, how I think, and being able to not just witness it, not just say, aversion, longing, myth of not enoughness, but actually to be able to say, that moment with my mother when I was that age, or that moment with my father when I was that age, or that moment in school when this happened, or that moment. And to recognize that first domino that hit and started the chain reaction that has led to us having this particular issue today. So on a personal level, I love insight. But I don't actually think it's necessary. As long as your spiritual practice is very, very clear. Otherwise, if it's not, you could very quickly and very easily end up using that Eastern spiritual teaching in what we call a spiritual bypass. So you could have issues of anger, issues of ego, issues of aversion, issues of grabbing, issues of jealousy, issues of competition, all of that. And if you just sort of pretend to witness it, pretend to notice it, and then move on with your life, you run a very likely risk of what we call spiritual bypass, which is to literally bypass the work we need to do psychologically. To bypass, why do I keep getting angry? Why do I keep feeling like I am less? Why do I keep feeling so judgmental? Why am I always competing with others? Why am I so jealous? You lose that opportunity to actually heal. And so when feelings arise, as the questioner asks, is it ever okay to just let it go? Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially if it's something you've worked with before. If it's something you know, you're familiar with it. You know that jealousy. You know that when you were growing up as the middle child of 6 siblings, you didn't get enough attention. You weren't the youngest or the oldest. You weren't the smartest. You weren't the cutest. You weren't the only girl or the only boy. You weren't anything special. And so you didn't get what in your childhood you really needed, which was that love and that attention and that affection. And so you grew up jealous. You grew up feeling not enough. So once you've really done that work, once you've seen it, you've recognized it, you've come through it, it doesn't mean that you'll never experience jealousy again. But so let's just take that example. Let's say that it comes up. Do you need to process it every time? Of course not. Do you need to go back and relive your childhood every time? Of course not. And this is actually where, in the West, I think we get stuck. I think we lose the process for the destination. We start thinking that the process is the destination. We start thinking that actually rehashing and reliving is where we're going. It's not. We need to see the cause of the darkness only so that we can see the light. If not being able to see why we are jealous or angry or self-sabotaging or constantly competitive or angry all the time, if we're not able to heal from it without understanding where it comes from, then we need to do the work to understand, yeah, now I remember. My mom taught me this. My dad taught me this. My sister taught me this. My brother taught me this. Maybe they didn't mean to, but this is how I learned it. But then once you're aware of that, every time it comes up, you don't need to rehash it. It's absolutely fine to just allow it to arise and then allow it to go. Like the waves of the ocean. And even sometimes feelings come, emotions come that we don't necessarily know why they came. Out of the blue, anger. Out of the blue, grief. Out of the blue, frustration. And again, sometimes that's just what it is. You know, we're all connected energetically to each other, to the earth, to the energetic field that we live in. And sometimes that which we are absorbing is not even actually something that's coming in from our own brain. It may be something that we walked by someone and we picked it up. It may be something in the field. And so sometimes, yeah, it's absolutely enough to just notice it, to just say, yeah, anger. Inexplicable anger. Okay. And you sit and you allow it to build and to crash and to dissipate. Or yeah, inexplicable grief. And it builds and it crashes, but the truth is, even if it's inexplicable in that moment, there's plenty of things in the world, even if they're not from our own childhoods, there's plenty of reasons in the world to be angry sometimes. There's plenty of reasons in the world to be sad sometimes. It reminds me of that funny story of a friend of mine told a long, long time ago. He had gone to a boarding school, a very, very strict boarding school that was run by nuns. And he said, and this is going back now, he's 40, 50 years. And so sort of old school, very, very strict nuns running a boarding school for boys. And he said that sometimes they would get in trouble and the nuns would come and hit them with rulers or worse. And if he got hit and he would say, but I didn't do it. That their standard answer was, you may not have done this, but this, what I'm giving you with the ruler, is for that which you did that I didn't see. Maybe you didn't do this one, but you did something. And so I'm going to whack you for whatever it is you did that I didn't see. And it's a story that I've heard him tell several times, and we chuckle every time. But I think of it in this moment because you may not know why the sadness is there in that moment, or why the anger is there in that moment. There may not be something up in your life right now to feel grief about or to feel anger about. But there is so much going on in the world that maybe they are tears for a time that you didn't cry. Maybe it's anger for something that someone needed to get angry about and no one has. So don't worry all the time about figuring out why you're feeling a certain way. Sometimes they just come. And all it needs is for us to sit, be quiet, and allow it to build, allow it to crash and dissipate. And then it's over, like the waves on the ocean.
So the third question is, I understand the importance of the 5 elements, but what is the importance of puja in my life, or in our life?
What is the importance of puja? So, all of the rituals we do, the puja, we say, oh, I'm going to do this to make God happy with me. Excuse me. I'm going to do this to make God happy with me, or I'll do this so that God will do this for me. But the truth is, God doesn't need our puja. God doesn't need our fire or our rice or our ghee or our flowers. We do puja to remind us that we are spiritual beings. Life is very busy. We are very distracted. It's very, very difficult to find the time to meditate, to pray, to do our puja, to connect with God. And so we have a ritual of doing our pujas in order to ensure that we carve out time of every day to be with God. And as we're doing puja, time in which we're chanting mantras, we're praying, we're connecting to God. So that is why you do puja. But if you happen to be someone who is loving God every minute and every moment, if every breath is chanting God's name, the puja isn't essential. The whole point of the puja is to reconnect us spiritually. So it doesn't make sense to do puja in just a ritualized way where you're not really paying any attention and it's just kind of another job you have to get through. Acha isko kardna, acha puja bhi kardna. No. It's not about have to clean the house, have to do this, have to do that, also have to do puja. It's not another job. It's not another item to check off a to-do list. It's a way of carving out time to be with God, to be in gratitude, to be in love. So whatever puja you're doing, ask yourself not is this making God happy? Is God happy with my rice or my ghee or my flowers or my incense? But am I connected to God? Because that's all God wants, is our love, our devotion, our connection. So even if all your puja is lighting a lamp, if all your puja is taking a grain of rice and offering it on the back porch for the birds to eat, if all your puja is walking over to the flowers as they sit on the bushes, not even taking them off the bushes, and just touching the flower and offering your love to God, if you do even those with real love, real devotion, that's what God wants. Think of all of the beautiful, beautiful stories from our scriptures of those who loved God the most. And how they offer to God, how they give their love and their devotion to God, whether it's Shabri sweeping the streets. And how much happier God is with that puja in the form of sweeping the streets than with all of the fancy puja taking place in palaces or temples. So make sure that it's in your heart, that your heart is connected. That is why we do puja. So whatever you do, make sure you do it with love and that you offer love. That is the most important, most beautiful puja, because it connects you to God. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening. A beautiful day. If you're in America, Beautiful evening if you're in Europe. And a beautiful rest of the evening and night for those of us in India. So much love to you all. And join us next Tuesday for our next satsang, on Monday for meditation, and tomorrow live on Instagram at 8:30. On Instagram, not Facebook. Sunday evenings is Instagram. 8:30 p.m. India time, where you can actually ask your questions live, coming onto the screen. So that's tomorrow at 8:30 on Instagram. Then Mondays we'll be back here for meditation, and Tuesday for satsang.